Hi and Assalamualaikum to every one of you. So today we're going to start the first topic for OBM100, which is chapter 1, thinking skills. So before that, I hope that each one of you have ready physically and mentally to learn today. So these are the topic that you will learn for this chapter. First, we will look at what is thinking skills, and then decision making, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, creative thinking, analytical thinking, and lastly, mind map. Thinking skill can be defined as a mental activity that can take in many forms and help your mind organize. Usually when you think, you may be forming an opinion or belief, you may be remembering, you may be reasoning, and then also it create ideas. For example, kalau kita cakap pasal creating ideas ni, kalau kita cakap thinking skills in creating ideas, contoh kalau you memasak, you nak masak gulai tapi santan tak ada, and kedai jauh dan you tak boleh keluar, so dekat rumah ada susu cair, so you ganti, you substitutekan santan tu dengan susu cair, and that you create the ideas. There are three major types of thinking skills, which is decision making skills, problem solving skills, and also critical thinking skills. So basically, as a human being, we need to know how to make use of these three thinking skills. The first type of thinking skill is decision making skills. Decision making skill means to make a choice between two or more alternatives. You kena buat keputusan. Maksudnya you kena ada skill juga dalam membuat keputusan. For example, you decide to what to wear today. Okay, nak pakai baju warna pink ke, nak pakai baju warna hitam ke, nak pakai baju kurung ke, nak pakai seluar ke, and then you decide whom you want to be with. Contoh hari ni, kawan A ajak you pergi makan, kawan B pun ajak you pergi makan, and then your boyfriend ajak you pergi makan. So you kena buat decision, orang yang mana yang nak pergi makan sekali nanti, and then where you want to go. Contoh kalau hari ni mak ajak pergi shopping, so nak pergi shopping dekat mana? Kat Aeon Mall ke, dekat KB Mall ke? Okay, and then what you want to do today. Adakah lepas habis kelas OBM100 ni, you nak buat nota ke, ataupun you nak tengok Netflix ke, ataupun you nak buat TikTok ke, ataupun apa yang you nak buat. That is decision making skills. So bear in mind that setiap decision yang you pilih akan memberi kesan dalam tindakan you, akan memberi kesan kepada hasil yang you akan dapat nanti. Alright? That's why as a human being, as a student, as an office worker, you need to make sure that you do a correct decision. Decision making also relate to the process of resolving whether something is worth doing or not worth doing. Contohnya, kalau keluar makan tadi, decision, kawan ajak keluar makan, boyfriend ajak keluar makan, boyfriend atau girlfriend ajak keluar makan. So, which one yang you nak pilih? Which one yang lebih worth pada you rasa? Okay. So, what is process? Process means that the point in time before which the decision was not made and after it has been made. So, sebelum berlakunya decision tu pun ada proses di situ. Sebab proses you memilih, and then selepas you decide pun berlaku proses juga. So proses apa yang berlaku lepas you decide? Maksudnya kesan daripada you punya decision tadi. For example, buying or purchase mesti selalu berlaku dekat you all kan. You all pergi kedai RM2, sebenarnya you nak beli 2-3 barang je, tapi you dah terbeli sampai 10-20 barang, and then you regret. You decide kan, you decide untuk beli, you sebenarnya decide untuk beli 2, tapi you terbeli 10. And then in the end tu, kesan dia adalah you regret buying tu. Duit you makin sikit lah, sebab you beli benda yang tidak perlu. And then same goes to sales, marriage, routine decision. Kalau kita cakap pasal marriage ni kan, kadang-kadang umur 18 tahun, macam umur you all ni, terus tak sabar nak kahwin awal, nak dapat anak cepat, bestnya kahwin dan sebagainya. But somehow, bila you decide to get married, kesan dia ada pula decision making lah tu. Maksudnya, pada umur you sekarang pun you dah kena buat decision. Sama ada you nak bekerja, ataupun you nak belajar, you nak belajar ataupun you nak kahwin dan sebagainya. Okay. Decision making also have levels. So level of decision making consists of personal, family, group, community, organizational, national and international. So semakin luas you punya jaringan ataupun you punya network, cara you bergaul dengan orang, penglibatan you dengan orang lain, semakin tinggilah level of decision making. Okay, is it easy or difficult to make good decision? Somehow ada yang kata easy, ada yang kata difficult. So basically there are 6 steps to make good decision. First, you need to make sure you state the question and then list the goals, apa yang you nak capai, and then list the alternatives. Kalau you nak buat decision, ada tak alternatif lain, and then gather some information, consider and compare the alternatives, and lastly baru you make the decision. So ada 6 steps to make good decision. The first one, state the question. Determine what you need to decide. Okay, it is best to make just one decision at a time and try to keep the question simple, state the question clearly and write it down. Contohnya, untuk you decide sambung diploma, ada setengah pelajar mungkin mengalami kesukaran. Mungkin untuk dia sambung diploma ni, dia perlu fikirkan keuangan parents dia, dia perlu fikirkan komitmen, dia perlu jaga adik-adik ke, komitmen dia perlu tolong mak ayah dia. So dia dalam dua, sama ada dia nak sambung belajar ataupun dia nak sambung kerja. You determine dulu what you need to decide. Fikirkan yang mana sesuai. Okay, aku rasa bila aku sambung belajar, aku akan lebih mudah lagi peluang pekerjaan yang datang nanti. So you decide to go to further study. Okay? And then list the goals, include the things you hope to accomplish. Write the goals in the order of importance. When you write the goals in the order of importance, you list out the most important goals at the top and the least important at the bottom. List all the alternatives that open to you. For example, kalau you nak belajar, tak tahu nak ambil course apa ni, sebabnya minat office management, minat juga business, minat juga information management. So tak tahu yang mana satu. And then pilihlah alternative and try to settle for only the obvious alternative yang paling bersesuaian dengan you punya result SPM, and then discuss your situation with another person. Another person tu mungkin yang lebih berpengalaman lah, ada yang macam parents ke, adik dan kakak ke, yang ada experience dalam you punya in making the decision tu. And then gather some information, consider your first alternative, try to imagine what would happen if you choose that alternative, and then decide whether or not the consequences would be good or bad. Walaupun kita tak tahu kan kesan lepas buat decision tu, tapi sikit-sikit tu kita dah nampak kesan dia. And then do this with each alternative. Kalau you ada 3 alternative, so you identify lah information tu untuk 3 alternative tersebut. And then you also may make alternative chart, so that it would be easier to gather information and to make your final decision if you make a simple chart. This is the example of alternative chart, pro and cons. Contohlah, perlu ke tidak aku kurus? Contoh, kalau aku kurus, apa pros dia, apa benefits dia, apa yang tidak bagusnya. Kalau aku nak kena kuruskan badan, kalau aku nak kurus badan, pros dia, you can be more healthier, you can be fit, you can be more fashionable. Okay, kalau cons dia, kalau you nak kurus, you kena control makan, tak boleh makan benda yang your favorite food. And then mungkin kawan-kawan dah tak nak kawan dengan you sebab you sibuk menjaga badan kan. Bila kawan ajak makan je, tak nak makan sebab nak jaga makan. So nanti kawan tak nak kawan, contohnya lah. Right, so you provide this alternative chart, barulah nanti you lebih senang untuk buat decision tu. Consider and compare the alternative. Get out your list of goals, get out your alternative chart, compare each alternative with your list of goals, and then look closely at the pros and cons of each alternative. Pros ni maksudnya yang bagus, cons ni maksudnya yang tidak bagus. Look at the consequences of each alternative. And lastly, bila dah semua information tu dah terkumpul, you dah compare, and then now make the decision. So the best alternatives will suffice your decision. Having a backup alternatives is a wise action where decisions don't always work out as planned. Other than that, there are also yes decision. Yes decision means that to agree, to adopt, and also to take action. Yes decision is based on a sufficient information, adequate temptation in the information, the decider is committed with the decision, and the type of action required after making the decision is no. No decision. When you decide to say no, it means that a positive rejection. Inadequacy of temptation and motivation, not willing to put on the effort required. You cannot figure out how to implement the decision at every stage. A positive act of playing safe in case of risk and uncertainty. Not wanting to hurt the feelings of someone that you care. This is related to human factor. And also timidity because of money. So kadang-kadang bila kita nak buat decision tu, mungkin dia relate dengan keuangan juga. Contoh kalau kawan ajak makan, tak naklah pergi sebab sebenarnya tak ada duit kan, nak berjimat contohnya. So you decide to say. And then another decision pula, holding back decision. Dia yes pun tidak, no pun tidak. The decider do not have enough information, and the decider is not willing to take an effort. Kadang-kadang ada juga setengah orang, contohlah ada orang confess dekat you, dia suka you, and then you pun tak tahu nak cakap you suka ke tidak. Nanti-nantilah, that you hold back lah tu. Maksudnya you tak nak, you malas fikir. Kadang kita boleh cakap dia malas nak fikir. Sebab dia malas nak fikir itulah dia tidak buat decision. Not willing to give up the pleasures of the old style. Again, you rasa selesa single. So bila ada orang approach you, you rasa macam bila in a relationship ni memerlukan komitmen kan. Nak kena wish good morning every day, nak kena layan pula kalau time moody tu, nak kena pujuk. Ada sometimes orang rasa benda tu sangat memenatkan dan melecehkan. So dia tak nak. Dia nak je hidup dia yang senang lenang, tak payah fikir perasaan orang tu. And then not wanting to hurt or disappoint some people that you care, and because there are too many information that may create uncertainty to you. So bila you rasa macam ketidakpastian yang tinggi tu, you decide untuk hold back the decision. Okay, and then next one, next thinking skill is problem solving skill. A problem is a difficult situation that needs to be worked out. As a human, we need to have problem-solving skills so that we can find an answer to a difficult situation. There are 5 steps of problem-solving skill. First one is you need to state the problem and then list the possible solutions, gather some information, consider and compare the solution, and lastly choose a solutions. So first, state the problem. Determine exactly what the problem is. Contohnya, kalau you punya problem adalah selalu tak masuk kelas pukul 8 pagi. So you determine exactly what the problem is. Mungkin sebab you susah nak bangun tidur. So kenapa you susah nak bangun tidur? Mungkin sebab malam tadi you tidur lambat. So kenapa malam tadi you tidur lambat? Mungkin sebab malam tadi you tengok cerita ataupun you main game dan menyebabkan you tidur lewat. That is a problem, and you identify macam mana nak solve problem tu. So it is best to solve just one problem at a time. Kita tak boleh nak solve banyak-banyak problem dalam satu masa. Settlekan satu-satu. So try to keep the problem simple and to the point, and state the problem clearly and write it down. Next step is to list the possible solutions. Try to limit yourself to only the obvious solutions, and then try to add different and creative solutions to your list. Next step, gather some information. You need to gather some information about each of the possible solutions. Look for both the good and the bad points of each solution, and include any information that could help you come to your final conclusion. So, kalau masalah you tadi adalah you selalu ponteng kelas pukul 8 pagi, you dah identify problem you adalah bangun lambat. Kenapa you bangun lambat? Sebab you tidur lambat, you main game, ataupun you bergayut dengan pakwa ataupun makwa you. And then you gather the information, cari yang mana solution yang bersesuaian. Tidur awal, jangan main game on weekdays, tak payah bergayut dengan pakwa-makwa on weekdays. Itu solution you. And then consider and compare the solution. Look carefully at the pros and cons of each solutions. Contoh, Tadi you punya solution nak elakkan daripada terbangun lambat pagi-pagi adalah tidur awal, jangan main game on weekend. Lepas tu another solution is jangan bergayut dengan pakwa-makwa on weekdays. Jangan main game on weekdays juga. So tiga-tiga solution ni mana yang bagus, mana yang tak. Contoh, kalau you tidur awal, apa pros dia? Pros dia you boleh bangun awal, you rasa lebih segar. Tapi mungkin dia ada cons dia. Cons dia mungkin you terlepas me time you ke, kan? You terlepas masa untuk main game ke, alright? And then sama juga kalau you tak main game on weekdays. Apa pros dia? Pros dia you boleh tidur awal, and then you lebih ada masa untuk belajar. And then cons dia apa? Mungkin cons dia you tak boleh nak kumpul mata yang tinggi ke untuk you punya game dan sebagainya, macam tu. And then when you already look carefully at the pros and cons, you eliminate the solutions that have more important cons rather than pros. Okay, contoh solution yang ketiga tadi, you cakap you nak tak nak bergayut dengan pakwa-makwa, tapi dia punya cons dia mungkin you kurang kasih sayang, you kerap bergaduh, ataupun chances untuk you break lebih tinggi. So cons dia banyak kan, so mungkin you boleh eliminate. This is a simple example tau, so that you boleh nampak macam mana proses dia. Okay, and then choose the best solution from the ones remaining. So antara tiga tadi, tidur awal, jangan main game on weekdays, jangan bergayut on weekdays. So the best is yang mana? Tidur awal ke, stop main game ke, ataupun stop bergayut. So once you already identify, you choose the solution. Solution should be flexible. So you test your solution, give trial period to see how well it works. Contohnya you decide untuk tidur awal. So sebenarnya bila you decide untuk tidur awal tu, you dah stop main game and you tak bergayut. So bila you start tidur awal, you tidur pukul 10 lah contohnya, you boleh bangun pukul 5 untuk solat subuh dan prepare semua, dan you tak ada masalah untuk attend kelas pukul 8 pagi. So bila you test, tengok oh inilah sebenarnya punca dia, so you teruslah tetapkan, dah solve dah you punya problem. Okay, alright, next thinking skill is critical thinking skills. Critical thinking skills is to evaluate carefully what another person says or writes. So critical thinking skills also help you to decide if that person says or writes is true or not. So this task will be easier if you learn to listen with critical ear and read with critical eye. Some of the example of critical thinking skills ni include good communication, good observation. Contoh, you naik bus and then you tengok ada orang yang lebih berusia naik bas sekali tapi dia tak dapat tempat duduk. Here you will use your critical thinking skills ni and then to decide, okay, ada pakcik ni, dia tak sihat nampaknya, dia tak dapat tempat duduk, so I have to give my seat to him. So you akan bangun dan bagi seat you dekat pakcik tu. That is critical thinking skills. You menggunakan observation, you tengok sekeliling dan you rasa you patut buat sesuatu pada itu, dan you pun buat decision. Okay? Alright. Okay, there are 3 major steps to think critically. First is you need to find out if the speaker is reliable, and then you need to make sure you understand the information, and you need to look for tricks meant to persuade you. The first one, find out if the speaker is reliable. Ask yourself this question: is the speaker giving facts or opinion? What do other experts say on the same subject? Contohlah, you dengar ada orang ni duk promote barang kan, and then suruh you join jadi agent dia. Produk ini adalah produk yang sangat berkualiti dan sebagainya kan, kosmetik timbang kilo lah contohnya kan. And then you berkata, dia ni betul ke kulit dia putih, and then dia jual produk pemutih kan. Rupanya you tengok expert cakap you tak boleh jadi putih macam tu. Putih yang macam tu sebenarnya you menggunakan perubatan yang akan membahayakan you punya kesihatan. That is thinking critically. You tidak menerima 100% apa yang orang tu cakap. And then you will also want to question the speaker's sources. Where did the speaker get the information? Is the information current? Okay, You kena dapatkan juga maklumat ni daripada tempat lain untuk make sure that maklumat yang diberi kepada speaker tu adalah betul. Apa yang dia cakap tu betul. Next, make sure you understand the information. You can decide whether or not this information is true by asking yourself, do I understand all the words the speaker is using? If not, look up any words you don't know or ask the speaker to explain them. And then look for tricks meant to persuade you. There are many tricks that a speaker can use to talk you into believing something that is not true. Kadang-kadang dia puji-puji kita dan sebagainya kan. Dia main psycho kita, membuatkan kita percaya apa yang dia cakap. So waktu ni lah kita akan gunakan critical thinking skill kita untuk analyse sama ada apa yang diberitahu itu betul ataupun tidak. Okay, next one is creative thinking. Creative thinking is bringing into being something of value that was not there before. Maksudnya something yang orang tak pernah lagi fikir, you dah fikir. Okay, not confined to the arts only. It can be also sciences. So we use creative thinking to generate new concepts, new ideas and new sight. Kalau kita tengok dekat TikTok ke kan, yang orang selalu share life hacks dan sebagainya, cara untuk menjimatkan makanan ke, cara untuk menjimatkan elektrik ke dan sebagainya kan. And then dia pun bagi ideas macam mana nak buat. That is creative thinking. So the aims of creative thinking is to explore all the creative possibility. Kita kena percaya bahawasanya otak kita ni sangat-sangatlah hebat dan kita boleh guna pakai otak kita ni untuk create something new, something yang orang tak pernah buat dan sebagainya. And then to clear the mind of wrong assumptions about the subject, thus providing space for new creative thoughts. When we talk about to clear the mind of wrong assumptions ni, contoh saya ada baca hari tu, kita kan most of the restaurants ni tidak mengguna pakai straw. Tapi apa yang saya baca, straw tu sebenarnya hanya memberi kesan 0.03% sahaja kepada kemusnahan, kepada pencemaran laut. Okay, itu maksudnya kita nak clear the mind of wrong assumptions tu. And then to create new conceptual frameworks, to generate ideas that will result in specific actions, and also to develop creative plan. Okay, now let's look at the general principles of creative thinking. Basically, to think creative, we need to use lots of imagination and then associate different ideas and also be flexible. Techniques to be creative. Macam mana kita nak be creative? First, associate new and unique ideas with pre-existing ones. Contoh kalau yang memasak tadi tu, masak kari guna susu cair dengan masak kari guna santan, a traditional way kan. And then bila masak kari guna susu ni, rupanya dia rasa dia lebih sedap dan dia lebih menyihatkan lagi berbanding menggunakan santan contohnya. Okay, and then combine unusual elements, magnify and use dimension, rearrange and link pre-existing concepts, reverse pre-existing concept, and also use different colors. Somehow there are challenges in creative thinking. First, do not set to judge, criticize or find fault. Selalulah kan, you all ni kan zaman-zaman TikTok kan. Contohlah kalau kita bagi idea, buatlah santan pakai susu cair. Nanti akan ada orang cakap, mana sedap buat santan pakai susu cair. We cannot change the traditional way of cooking. Dan ada macam-macam lah orang akan judge kita kan. But go on, pergi je teruskan. Sama juga macam TikTok content yang saya tengok, cikgu prasekolah dia buat, dia tunjuk cara mengajar murid prasekolah kan. Ada orang yang setuju, ada orang suka, ada orang juga yang tak suka. Dia kata expose pula akan efek privacy pelajar dan sebagainya. So just go with it. Sebab sekarang ni zaman kita bukan zaman macam dulu. So zaman sekarang zaman lain. So just kita ikut je zaman sekarang. Janji dia tidak melanggar lagi etika, tidak melanggar lagi kepercayaan agama, benda-benda yang wajib-wajib tu. So should be no problem. And then another challenges in creative thinking is refuses to accept that the current way of doing things is necessarily the best way. Contohnya macam ODL. Sebelum kita mengaktifkan pakai ODL sepenuhnya, sebelum berlakunya COVID-19, ada juga pihak yang tidak suka belajar menggunakan online methods. Tapi disebabkan oleh COVID-19, kelas pun tidak boleh berlaku secara physically. somehow yang tak suka tu terpaksa juga menerima, dan sebenarnya dia boleh je selesa je dengan apa yang benda baru yang berlaku sekarang ni. And then another challenges in creative thinking is encourage exploration of other possibilities. Next type of thinking is analytical thinking. Analytical thinking is a process of identifying the cause of the problem. Dia tak sama macam problem solving skills ya. Analytical thinking ni dia punya a way broad of thinking lah compared to problem solving skill. And then try to understand complex situations by looking at the situation through various components or parts. Example of analytical thinking ni can be, contohlah, kalau you bekerja dalam organisation, and then you identify that there are a lot of colleagues you punya colleagues selalu ambil MC. Dalam sebulan, almost 50% of the employees tu akan MC. So you need to identify kenapa selalu MC, kenapa dia orang selalu tak sihat, and then you pun identify dia ada kaitan dengan keadaan organisasi tu, pejabat tu. Pejabat tempat you kerja tu rupa-rupanya dah lama tak servis aircon. Bayangkan kalau you bekerja dalam tempat yang tertutup yang memang sentiasa ada aircon terpasang dan you tak servis aircon tu. Aircon ni kena servis. Kalau tak servis memang dia kotor kan. Kalau you tengok aircon ni, kalau you basuh kan dia hitam, habuk-habuk sebab dia menyedut habuk. So kalau tak servis, dia akan menyebabkan berlakunya, dia panggil sick building syndrome. So sick building syndrome ni memang akan memberi kesan lah jangka pendek dan jangka panjang kepada employee tu. That's why employee tu selalu demam dan sebagainya lah, MC. Okay, so now we're going to the last topic for this chapter, which is mind mapping. Before we go further into understanding what is mind mapping, let's look at the history of mind map. Siapa sebenarnya yang cipta mind map ni? It is popularized by British popular psychology author and television personality, which is Tony Buzan, in 1974, following his research into note-taking techniques. Kalau you search for Tony Buzan ni, dia ada keluarkan banyak buku-buku yang menjadi reference kepada most of the organisation lah. So Tony Buzan ni memang ada create a lot of books relating to the mind maps. Dia pernah publish buku mind map for kids, mind maps for business, dan dia juga pernah keluarkan buku The Speed Reading Book, dan banyak lagi yang membantu untuk improve kita punya thinking skill and way of managing time, manage our study methods dan sebagainya. Tony Buzan linked the concept of mind mapping to radiant thinking in his book, The Mind Map Book, Radiant Thinking, in 1993. He said that mind mapping is a device that encourages you to put on paper the words, symbols, images and codes that are associated with one's thoughts, ideas, concepts, expression and emotions. So how mind mapping was invented? Tony Buzan studied 3 common techniques for taking notes during a lecture: writing a complete transcript, writing a summary, and writing keywords only. So dia study 3 teknik of taking notes ni, and then tu yang dia come out dengan mind mapping technique. So mind mapping is consists of a central word or concept. Around the central word, you draw 5 main ideas. Then you take each those words and again draw 5 to 10 main ideas. So mind mapping ni sebenarnya ideas ataupun topics yang you gunakan, you simplify supaya mudah untuk you lebih faham. Advantages of mind mapping. First is time saving. Research shows that 75% to 90% of the words can be eliminated. And then keywords are used, the association and connection are precise. Can be in image form. Creativity and personality is highly involved. Free flowing, masuk je apa-apa, spontaneous and free associated. By using mind mapping, learning process is accelerated. So these are the things that you can do with mind map. Creative writing and report writing, studying the easy way, studying as a group or family, meeting and think tanks, nak dapatkan ideas, giving a talk and also note taking. So sebagai pelajar, sangat penting untuk you buat mind map untuk memudahkan lagi you ingat dan you faham. So how to create a mind map? First, begin at the center of the page with the main topic or ideas, and then work outwards from in it direction to produce a unique pattern or ideas and subtopics, and use about 5 to 7 cluster, where a cluster is a sub idea ataupun selalunya you akan buat dalam bentuk awan tu kan. And then use 3D perspective and colours to create more interest and dramatic. Use one word per line to make it more concise. Arrow, colours and design can be added to show connection and associations. Make use of a personal short form, quotes and symbols. And you are advisable to be creative, original and have fun with taking the notes. Okay, so this is the example of mind mapping. So mind mapping tadi dia boleh melibatkan colours, words, images, lines untuk bagi you senang faham, senang ingat. This is another example of mind mapping. Okay, apa-apa pun mind mapping kena bermula pada center, and then ideas dia akan berkembang lah dari sekeliling. So sekarang ni there are a lot of people that create mind map using the computer. Even my student as well pun saya suruh dia orang create mind map menggunakan apps ataupun software yang bersesuaian lah, ataupun template untuk mind map untuk make sure dia orang lebih faham. So why? What is the benefit of using computer to create a mind map? The first one is because to easy restructuring. So you can restructure your mind maps by moving words and trees of words around in seconds. Contoh kalau macam you buat tu salah ke apa ke, you tak perlu nak padam ataupun liquid lah. Lebih senang untuk you edit. And then better for quickly creating new ideas and ordering ideas into a meaningful structure. Another benefits of using computer to create a mind map is highlighting. You can instantly highlight different features of a complex mind map. And then you can give comments, allow you to write sentence of explanation for yourself or others. Presentability, having the same high quality appearance as any other document. Export, you can instantly export the mind map to a normal text file or to a structured word processor document. So this is the example of computer mind mapping. And then ada lagi macam-macam jenis lah. You boleh just search for mind mapping template untuk dapatkan ideas, dan juga website yang boleh tolong createkan mind map untuk you. Apa yang bagusnya lagi tentang mind map ni, in mind mapping, both side of the brain are being used at the same time, since the mind mapper is encouraged to use both words and symbol, quotes, images. As you all know, brain kita ni kiri dan kanan ni lain-lain fungsi dia. Satu fungsi dia untuk absorb ataupun analyze words. Satu lagi bahagian pula untuk analyze symbols, quotes, images. Okay, ini adalah relate to the Sperry's split brain theory. In this manner, the whole brain is used, and this surely helps to bring about better recall in terms of the time period taken and the amount of the content to be learned. Okay, so this is the function of right and left brain. Right brain ni emphasize on forms and patterns, spatial manipulation, rhythm and musical, image and picture, imagination, daydreaming, dimension, and also the tune of a song. Left brain emphasize on language, mathematical, logic and numbers, sequence, linearity, analysis, and the words of the song. Another theory that relate to mind map is Gardner's multiple intelligences theory. This theory shows that mind map is a useful and enhancing tool for using the 7 intelligences that we have. So dalam Gardner's multiple intelligences theory ni, dia bagi tahu yang kita ni ada 7 intelligence: linguistic, logical, mathematical, musical, intrapersonal, interpersonal, bodily, kinesthetic, and also spatial. So bila kita guna mind map, kita akan guna pakai 7 intelligence ini. So the first intelligence adalah linguistic. Linguistic is a sensitivity to language, meanings and relations among words. Siapa yang ada intelligence in linguistic ni selalunya novelist, poet, copywriter, script writer, editor, magazine writer, reporter, public relations director and speech writer. Orang yang suka menulis tu selalunya ada linguistic intelligence. Next one is musical intelligence. Those yang ada musical intelligence ni have a very high sensitivity to pitch, rhythm, timbre, the emotional power and complex organisation of music. Usually those yang ada musical intelligence ni adalah performer, artis, penyanyi, composer, conductor music, music audience. Maksudnya orang yang terlibat dalam bidang muzik ni ada musical intelligence. Next, intelligence is logical mathematical. This intelligence ni focus on abstract thought precision, counting, organization and logical structure. Usually those who have logical mathematical intelligence ni those who is mathematician, pakar matematik, scientist, engineer, animal tracker, police investigator, lawyer, those yang bermain dengan ketepatan tu pasti akan ada logical mathematical intelligence. Next one is spatial. Basically those who have spatial intelligence ni they have a very keen observation, visual thinker, mental images, metaphor, a sense of the whole gestalt. So those who with spatial intelligence ni selalunya dia akan jadi architect, dia akan jadi painter, sculptor, navigator, chess player, naturalist, theoretical ataupun physicist. Next is bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence means that you can control your body and object, timing, train responses that function like reflexes, usually found in dancer, athlete, actor, inventor, surgeon or aerobic instructors. And then interpersonal intelligence, sensitivity to others, ability to read the intention and desires of others and potentially to influence them. Usually found in politician, teacher, lecturer, counselor, salesman, manager, and those who is people person. Maksudnya bila dia berjumpa dengan orang tu, dia boleh identify orang tu jenisnya macam mana. Kadang pernah ada juga orang yang ada interpersonal intelligence ni, dia boleh tengok dengan cara orang tu berpakaian pun dia dah tahu dah orang tu kerja apa. Itu maksudnya dia ada interpersonal intelligence. Next one is intrapersonal. Intrapersonal intelligence maksudnya tadi interpersonal tu dia dengan orang, dia yang dengan orang lain. Intrapersonal tu maksudnya dia dengan diri dia ataupun dalaman dia. So those who have intrapersonal intelligence ni, they have a self-knowledge, sensitivity to one's own value, purpose, feelings, and they can develop sense of self. Maksudnya dia akan nampak kalau dia buat macam tu, kalau dia buat sesuatu ke orang tu akan rasa apa. Apakah perasaan orang tu? Contohnya kalau macam kita tak bagi makan kat kucing, apa perasaan kucing tu? Kalau kita tak siram air kat pokok, apa perasaan pokok tu? Dia boleh rasa benda yang intrapersonal tu. So usually those yang intrapersonal intelligence ni dia akan jadi novelist, yang buat novel kan. Buat novel ni selalunya di-imagine perasaan orang sebagainya. Counselor, wise elder, maksudnya orang-orang yang macam kita selalu jumpa dia, tok-tok guru, philosopher, guru, person with deep sense of self. So what are the result, anticipated or expected result if you apply those theories and techniques in mind mapping? You will more integrate in learning, save time in learning, remembering better and faster, learning becomes more organized, learning is more efficient, learning is more interesting and exciting, and also it helps to improve your academic performance. So yang mana tak pernah cuba buat mind map, rasa macam tak suka buat mind map, maksudnya you punya teknik tu tak betul lah. Cuba lagi. Based on my experience pun, mind map is the best method lah untuk kita faham dan ingat apa yang kita belajar. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 1. I hope that you can understand all the concept that we have learned in chapter 1. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.